Hello, and welcome to Cosmic Therapy. I am delighted to be here, and I have a wonderful special guest today, Breanna Neely Pyle. How are you today, Breanna?
Good.
And so, you're on television, your debut. How old are you?
I'm 10 years old.
How old?
10.
How old?
10.
And so what does that mean if you're 10 years old?
That I've been alive for 10 years.
That is true. And have you enjoyed your human experience for 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
And you'll be 11 when?
August 25th.
Okay. So my next question was going to be, do you know anything about astrology?
Not a lot, but I do know my sign, which is I'm a Virgo. I do know that.
But are you a true Virgo?
Yes.
Oh, you are? Okay. Well, I tend to think that people who are born in the months of the sign, like I am a Cancer, and I'm born in July. But if I was born in June, I'm also a Cancer too, but I would have a lot of Geminian influence. And in your case, because you're born in the month of August, you have a lot of Leo influence. But added to that, because I know your chart, honey, you also have Leo rising. So the fact that you're on television today, you are in your element. Do you know why?
Because I'm born to be a star.
Spoken like a true Leo rising, Leo influence Virgo. Now, as far as Chinese astrology, do you know anything about it?
I do know what animal I am. I'm a horse.
A horse. Okay. Describe for me a horse. What would be some of the characteristics about a horse?
Nature, I guess, because they stay outside, so.
And they move a lot.
Yeah, move a lot.
And they're beautiful. And they're gentle. They're kind.
Mm-hmm.
And they work hard.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be hard to domesticate them.
Mm-hmm.
They need to be free.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see yourself married?
Yes.
You can?
Mm-hmm.
But would it be hard or difficult for your mate to tell you what to do, when to do, how to do, where to do?
Sometimes I think, yeah.
You do? Mm-hmm. Do you see yourself as a mother?
Mm-hmm.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
You would like to have children. How many children would you like to have?
2.
2.
I want a boy and a girl.
Oh, you do? And you've got them named?
If it's a girl, I was thinking about going with Anne because that's my mom's middle name. I don't know, I like that name.
You do like Anne? Oh, and a boy?
I haven't really thought about that.
Oh, okay. Well, let's talk about mode of cosmic therapy. You want to?
Sure.
You want to talk about it? Okay. If you were going to describe it, because you know a little bit about it, you know because you happen to know me personally. Yes?
Yes.
Incidentally, before we go any further, tell me about that super trip you just got back from.
We went to Disney World.
Disney World. And what did you do at Disney World?
Well, when I think of Disney World, the first thing that pops in my mind is the luau, which was on the last day, I think. And so we go at night. And so it was dark, and so you couldn't see anything. And so it was me, Paula, and Emmy. And so, because my brother was sick, and so Sandy went home back to the hotel with him. But so then after we ate our food, which wasn't really good, and then we got dessert. So we had ribs, and so they brought us these. They were hot. He said they were white. They were wrapped around. They were a decent size, but then he said not to go at them fast because they were hot. So I was passing them out to everyone, and then then Paula had hers up to her mouth, like touching her teeth, and Emmy unrolls it and says it's a washcloth, which, yeah.
That is a true story. Now, but you have to give me the benefit of the doubt, Breanna. It was dark in there.
Yeah.
And we couldn't tell what it was.
Yeah.
And they were rolled up so pretty. And he did say he was going to bring dessert. So how did we know that what he gave us was hot washcloths?
Well, I think you're saying that off yourself to just not feeling bad, because I knew they were washcloths and Emmy knew they were washcloths. So.
Did you really?
Yeah, I figured it out as soon as they came up.
Oh.
You could tell because you could see the little spikes on them.
Oh, so I was just the one that was unbeknown to what it. Okay, I'll take that. Anyway, let us move on. So did you enjoy Disney World?
Yeah, it was just a lot of walking around and a lot of like blisters if you weren't wearing comfortable shoes. But all the food was good except for the luau. But yeah, I would go again.
You would?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what about, did you get to go to the beach and the pool?
Yeah. Outside our hotel room, you could see the beach because there was like these two beaches, but you couldn't swim in them because they had boats to take you from somewhere to somewhere if you wanted to, but you could also ride the monorail, and so you couldn't swim in that water, but you could play in the sand. And then they also had a really, really nice pool, which was from the bottom of your toes to over your head, and they had a really nice waterfall, and they had a really big volcano water slide, so the pool was...
I'm looking at your necklace. That's something
Yeah,
you got from there, right?
From Disney World, yeah.
But one of the funnest things that you did while you were there, and I want to plug this because I enjoyed it so much. Tell me, maybe it might be the same thing or it may not, and maybe that was a clue to clue you in and cue you into what I'm getting ready to say. What was one of the funnest things that you experienced at Disney World?
Well, I have two of the funnest things, but I know one of them is going to be yours, so I'll say my other one.
Of course you would.
Yeah. So my other one, she wasn't with us for this part, but because we were going to go see the fireworks, but then it was me, Sandy, Emmy, and my brother. And so you got to really get this car, and you got to really drive, and I like that because it was me and Emmy in a car and Sandy and Justin in a car. And I've seen driving more than he has. Like when everyone had their little, you couldn't bump the cars, but if you if you pressed the brake, it would stop, and you did. And it had like stop signs and red lights and stuff, which was really cool. But that was really cool. But Justin, since he's only 7 years old, he doesn't really. I could tell more about driving, but I hit the person in front of me, which we weren't supposed to do. But Justin, since he can't really drive that well, he was like, every car had a little space between them. And so here's me, and he was right there holding up the cars. So I thought we were going to go again. Me and Emmy both thought that because like every new person was getting into their car. But I like that. Now for what you're going to say, which I already know what you're going to say.
Okay. Well, you tell it.
There was a ride called Soaring, which was really, really good. So you got to sit down, and then they fold the bar over you. But if you're wearing loose-fitting, this is something that's really detailed, but loose-fitting shoes, purses, and all the other stuff would go in the underhand compartment. But anyway, besides that, so it would bring you, they had a big green screen, which had a lot of stuff that looked really, really real. So the thing would rise you up in the air, and you would just start, like, it would, the ride or whatever would move itself, so it would move you, so it looked like really, really real. You would go over water with a bunch of trees, and you could smell the trees, like the mint or whatever it's called, trees. But yeah, I really like that.
Okay, but that wasn't the one I was going to say, Breanna.
Okay.
Now, there was one more thing that we enjoyed so much.
Uh-huh.
And what would that be?
I'm
just saying.
Great movie ride?
No, I like that too.
Ellen DeGeneres?
No.
What?
And I'm just saying, it's not a competition. What would it be?
I couldn't tell you.
Crush?
Oh yeah, Crush, which was really cute. Well, you could call that a ride. It was more of like, so what was your favorite ride? I'll tell you about Crush. But what was your favorite ride that we did?
That would be the, you're right, soaring.
All right, then it is a competition now. Okay, so Crush was this little turtle off Nemo, and it was like, whoever was playing his role, it was really good because like, it would talk back to you. Like if you said your name, it would say your name back to you, and yeah. But the funniest part to me would have to be when he called out a girl, he was going to say if there's any questions about turtles and like how they live it, because it talked about what they live in and how they do stuff different from us. And so he wanted to know, he called out a girl and her name is Elena. So then he talked to her for a few minutes about what she did, and then he talked about how he called out her mom, and then her mom said that he asked her how many children her mom had, and then she said that she had 2 kids and 1 on the way. And then he said, well, it's not a competition, and he rolled on his back because his wife had 64 that morning.
Yes, he was delightful.
Yeah, and he kept telling us to say dude all day, which she did. I think he was more talking to kids though. And then he also said that, hey, don't worry, you human people, but there's no water in your tank.
He was wonderful.
Yeah, because there was a green tree and he had water like any other. Yeah.
He was wonderful. And yes, Emmy and Justin enjoyed that so much. I loved it too. Okay, enough about Disney World and enough about, I guess people have gotten to know you a little bit, Breanna, through these first few minutes of Mode of Cosmic Therapy. But my point was, when I asked you, honey, about Mode of Cosmic Therapy, and since you have been associated with it for a long time, you can say that the trip to Disney World was Mode of Cosmic Therapy, right? In what way? Now, I have really put you on the spot there. How could possibly going to Disney World be associated with Mode of Cosmic Therapy?
Well, first you should say exactly what Mode of Cosmic Therapy is.
Get away from here. You're putting me on the spot.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Mode of Cosmic Therapy is any and everything that occurs in your life. Okay. Anything, and the interweaving of those things, meaning that life and us participating in it and contributing to it and taking from it is all connected. All of those things are connected, yes?
Yes.
And so we cannot take one part away from it and leave a part and say that that is not the way it was supposed to be, or that things were not supposed to happen that way, or I'm getting too deep now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So back to Disney World. So I think it connects because at Disney World you didn't know exactly, on the first day we didn't know what we were doing because Sandy and Paula haven't gone since their children were our age. So, but they didn't know, like we didn't know what would happen. Like we didn't know what would has hit us as soon as we started walking. Because we were, the second day was probably the best because we were walking around the biggest park, but it was great weather. There was way less people. But the first day was hot. There's so many people. But we don't really know what hit us because we were walking around and we saw so many lines. We saw so many things. So we saw so many stuff that we didn't know exactly that we would think about. Like on the plane, I bet you're thinking about, because you haven't gone in so long, what has changed from what it has been to what is now. And they added a new fantasy land and other stuff from then since you've been. And so it connects to you by saying what has changed from then and from now. And you didn't know what hit you by waiting in all those lines, or we would go crazy, and yeah.
Okay. So what you're saying is that life is full of unexpected events. Regardless of whether you have been there or not, it's going to be different the next time you go.
Yeah.
Even as we're sitting here talking, Breanna, this moment, if we were to get up, stop this clock, whatever time it is, what does it say, 13:59, so that's...
a minute to 14. I mean, a minute to 2, actually.
Okay. Right, a minute to 2 o'clock on this day, if we were to stop it and walk outside and come right back in here 5 minutes from now and sit down exactly like you're sitting and I'm sitting, and we were to try to restate everything that we just stated exactly as the words were said, something would be different. Why?
Because when we were outside there, you didn't expect to stop the show and go outside. In the car driving here, you were thinking, oh, today's going to be a great show, we're just going to do it and go. But then we stop, we go outside, then we come back in, same positions and everything. Stuff has happened that you didn't expect to happen.
That's right. Thoughts have filled your mind. Your face may be tired.
Yeah, because you could have saw other stuff outside. Like you could have saw a dog the size of your palm outside, which would be in your mind right now.
That is true. That is so true. And that is the whole point, honey. In our lives, whatever is happening for that moment. And that's why I love this show so much. And that's why we do not rehearse or talk about anything that's going to go on. You have no idea what's going to be said or what I'm going to say to you or what I'm going to say, period. I mean, but that's life. Yes, you cannot prepare.
Yeah, and I would rather have a show that's not expected than shows that have scripts from over and over and over again, because that is perfection, and I am not a perfectionist on some things, but some things I am on. But I like a show better that if you start writing and that falls down, that would be better because you don't expect that. But in another show, you would, let's say, a Disney Channel has a lot of shows that are just like Cinderella, Fine, Fairly, whatever. But you wouldn't expect that to fall if you were just watching this for the first time. But on a Disney Channel show, let's say you saw someone who went up to, let's say Cinderella and Prince Charming, when they went up to each other for the last time they get their wedding, they would kiss. You would expect that. But you going up to around that board, they would think you just write it and it'd be over with and you sit back down and keep talking. But it could fall over at any time. Okay.
So are you supposed to get upset about that, or do you just pick up the board and keep writing?
You just keep up, like, because I don't care what people think. You know that. I don't care. Like, I could stand up and dance right now and I wouldn't care what they would think. So if they fell out down, and then they would change the channel by saying this is a stupid show because they obviously didn't rehearse, they need to practice on the show. But I like that show. I would like it better because it's like not rehearsed.
Okay, and I agree with you. I think life is spontaneous and it's off the cuff, and whatever's going to happen, we're going to do. But there are times when you do need organization and planning.
And that is when I am coloring. Exactly. So I have my book on, let's bring a flower, and it's a coloring book. I have to have it perfected. But on the show, I don't care unless I was on Dance with the Stars. I would care if it was perfect.
Well, I was going to say, that's a good example. Honey, that is a good example. Do you know with Dancing with the Stars and how wonderful and beautiful those couples are? But they have to practice over and over and over. And they have to repeat steps. The point I'm saying is sometimes in life you are going to have to